Hey guys, it's Rachel from Little Ring Lamb, and today I'm doing the End of the Year book tag. This tag was created by Ariel Bassett, and I'm going to link her original video in the down bar. I urge you to check it out. I really love her content. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about her through BookTube, so you probably have already seen this video. But basically, if I'm looking down or over, I'm looking at my cell phone where I have, the questions from the YouTube video all up. So this book tag, I was a bit confused when I first saw it because it's like it's not the end of the year, but basically the point of this video is that it's kind of like a wrap-up video where you're talking about the things you want to get done before the end of the year. So that's kind of the gist of the tag because I was a bit confused when I first watched it, or at least saw the title of Ariel's video. So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I have one book that I really want to finish that I did start this year, and that is The Monopolists by Mary Pylon. I started this, I believe, in March or late February of 2017, and I got about 100 pages through, so I have about 150-ish pages left, and I want to finish this before the end of this year. I was reading a lot of fiction that was more science-dense and factual, and I just kind of felt like going back into a story, so I put this down, and I intended to go back to it, but I still have not. It's still on my Goodreads shelf because I intend to get to it very soon, and I hope to finish it off this year. There's just always so many books, and so sometimes so hard to go back to certain ones, but I was really enjoying it. It's nothing to do with the content or anything about the book in general. Number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So I don't have necessarily a autumnal themed book, not like a Halloween book that I'm reading that transitions me into the year, to the end of the year, but one of the transition books I picked was 7 Minutes in Heaven by Sara Shepard, the 6th and final book in the Lion Game series. By the time I post this, I could be finished this book. I will be finished this book because it'll be like 3 weeks from now. But this book, I'm saying it's my transitional book because it's one that I've been saying for years and years and years that I was going to get finished, I was going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And after finishing this, I've read everything but 2 of Sara Shepard's older books. But I've read everything that means Pretty Little Liars to present day. And it's kind of my transition book because the second book in the Amateur series by Sara Shepard comes out, so it kind of closes a chapter in the Lion Game book so I can focus on this new series. So that's kind of how I'm treating this transitional period of this year. Number 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? So yes, there is a new release I'm still waiting for. Speaking of, Sara Shepard books, I'm waiting for the release of The Amateurs, the sequel, and I'm blanking on the title, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I'm getting on that at the end of this month. I'm going to be pre-ordering it because it comes out November 7th, and I'm super excited for that one. If you've watched this channel, you know I love Sara Shepard's books, and I really enjoyed the Amateurs series. The first one came out last year, and I know this one I'll have a lot to discuss, so I always look forward to it. Her books, A, for reading them obviously, B, because I always post discussion videos, and you guys, we all comment, and it's just like a really nice chat. I really enjoy it. For what are 3 books you want to read before the end of this year? So this time, because the last 2 tags I've been doing, I've been pre-filming, so some of these might not be up, but I've been including books I'm going to be buddy reading. So I decided not to do that. I'm going to pick books I'm going to be reading solo, so, we get a little bit different kind of perspective of what other books I want to read this year. So one of them, which will be no surprise if you've been keeping up with my TBRs, is A Night In with Grace Kelly by Lucy Holliday, the 3rd and final book in the A Night In with trilogy. This book was released last November. I really need to get to it. I really want to get to it. I love this series. I think I've just been putting it off because the second book, I loved the second book, but it had so much heartbreak, and it hurt my little heart, and, it's hard to go back to that place and hurt myself, but I think it'll have a nice resolution. I don't think the offer would, make it heartbreaking. I hope. Maybe. And the next book I have is Coming Clean by Kimberly Ray Miller, another book I did purchase last November. And I really want to read it soon. This book is basically about a girl who grew up with parents who are hoarders and kind of her life after. It's a memoir, so it's obviously true, and it's one that I wanted to get to. It's a smaller book, so I think I should be able to get to that, hopefully. And the third book I want to get to by the end of this year, hopefully, these might not happen, but I'm aiming, is Certain Girls by Jennifer Whiner. I read the first, this is actually a sequel to Good in Bed. I read Good in Bed earlier this year, and I really want to finish off and read the sequel so I can complete the duology before the end of this calendar year. So number 5, I believe, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? So I didn't pick any books that I picked a book that I have had on my shelf because I just decided to do that. Because I didn't want to put another Sara Shaver book. I want to pick something different. So Belgravia, or Gravia, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, by Julian Fellowes is one that I've wanted to read. I think it came out last summer or the summer before. I hope it did not come out the summer before, because I think it did, and I'm so behind. But I love Downton Abbey so much. I really want to get into Doctor Form, which is his other show, which I saw is on Amazon, like the video thing. So want to get on that. Yeah, I really love Downton Abbey, so I want to read this book. I heard it got so much good like praise for it, and I think it could become a favorite of mine because he wrote the TV show, he wrote this book. I like his writing style because I do like the show, so gives me hope that it could be a favorite by the end of this year if I do manage to get to it. I really hope so. So many books, so little time. And the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2018? So my reading plans for 2018, I have a few, but they're not set in stone. One, I'm going to put my book total back to 50 books. The reason being, I put this year up to 60 books because I want to read more manga, graphic novels, of the like, and I didn't want to put 50, and I want to have 50 novels read, and then 10 like graphic novels or like shorter novels that are under 100 pages, so like little novellas. I kind of put that in because I want to read more. And I'm definitely going to hit the 60 book goal as far as I can tell by now because I'm at 47 read books, and it's, when I'm filming this is October 3rd, so I have 13 books to read before the end of the year, which is totally manageable, I believe. But I want to put it back to 50 because I'm reading a lot more. Why it takes so much less time to read. I breeze through it way quicker, but I'm reading a lot more general fiction. And sometimes I call it adult fiction, but I just mean because there's YA and then I'm like adult, but it's general fiction. But reading general fiction, the font's typically smaller, the stories are bigger, and it takes generally me like a week to read a book, whereas YA would take me 4 to 5 days, or like 4 probably, if I'm not busy. And I just want to make it 50 and not put as much stress on me. It doesn't really stress me out having a reading goal, but I like to accomplish it because it does give me a sense of accomplishment, obviously. And next year I know I'm going to be starting school again. I'm going to be starting graduate program. I could be moved away from home or I could be living at home. So I know that in my mind that transition is coming up and that I better prepare for it with my reading goals. And my second one is to read more diverse. And you may be thinking, you've heard this before. I do want to read more diverse in terms of like race, gender, country of origin, country that the book takes place in, all that. But I also want to read more diversely, and this is very loosely using the word diversely, books I don't hear a lot about on BookTube, because I watch a lot of book hauls and they have a lot of the same books, and I really like that people have the same books. Like I'm not dissing anybody who has the same books as everybody else, because I do too, trust. I'm, hauling the next Colleen Hoover book soon, so probably before this. But like I really want to try to look and explore and see new titles and titles I don't hear a lot about on BookTube, because BookTube is predominantly YA, and there's like only so many like really popular YA releases. And I love seeing everybody's different expressions on different books. So there's no like, whenever I say something like that, it's not insulting away another BookTube review stuff, but I just am an explorer. I just love to find little hidden gems, and that's kind of my goal, to read books that I don't hear a lot about on BookTube, because sometimes I'm watching some channels that do haul books that I hear about a lot about, but then I hear about one I haven't heard about, and I think it finds more interesting. Like I just like to explore different genres, read more nonfiction. I try to always like look for books that I haven't really heard been talked about, because I find it really interesting. But then also I do like reading books that people talk about, obviously, because then we can confer. So that is the end of this video. I'm not sure who to tag. I don't know who to tag. So I tag anybody who's watching this that hasn't done the tag. If you have done the tag, leave in the down bar, because I want to see other people's videos, because I find it very interesting. It's kind of like a miniature wrap up, but then you get to see some insight on like their goals and stuff like that. And I'm definitely interested in seeing other people's goals, because I can definitely work on my goals and honing them in and making them more specific, but I don't want to make them too specific where it's tailor-made, where I have to follow specific sets of rules, because we know that I get overwhelmed and I change my mind and I get distracted. I'm human. Not that the other people that do that aren't, but with my reading, I need to be a little bit more flexible and stop being as rigid with it, where other people can probably stick to that better than I can. But yeah, whew, that was a long ramble. But yes, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, see you guys later. Bye.